Hey there, church. How are you? Well, I have tried to record these thoughts previously and wasn't satisfied with them. Did it last week, actually. And then I've even sat down and wrote out all my thoughts. Not satisfied with that either. So today we're going to talk about the questions about the SBC. And I guess I'm just going to just give you my heart on this because I don't really know how else to address it to you. And I suppose we just start with the fact that I, along with many, many others, are just brokenhearted. I never thought I would see this day. In all my years of ministry, I never thought I'd see this day. And I say this is the judgment of God. Because, there in Numbers 32, you have that statement that so many people know, but I don't know that we believe it. Be sure your sins will find you out. Well, that's what's happened. And we see the wisdom in that statement. God is not going to let it pass, especially when it's representatives of His church that are creating the problem. And in this case with the abuse, and I guess the abuse is one thing by the ministers, but the cover-up of the abuse and the excuses used that it was going to, they were covering up all this to protect the cooperative program, to protect the integrity of the ministry. Those are just excuses. Anytime you put money or organization ahead of the lives that you're supposed to protect, that's gross. It is gross. It is not, and the words immoral don't even do justice to the wickedness that has been expressed. And still yet today, and next week is the convention, and yet still today, people are defending, what happened, and they're defending the cooperative program and the executive committee and all that. They're defending all of it and saying that we shouldn't even accept the report. Now that, the researchers have come out in support of the gay agenda, they want to throw the whole thing out. Now it's too late for that, because their support of the gay agenda has nothing to do with the results of their research. Their research was solid. And I guess, this is I suppose, I know I'm stumbling, but I suppose I'm like John Willison. He's one of my favorite Scottish Puritan pastors from the 18th century. He said that whenever something like this happens, it's time to kiss the rod, because this is the judgment of God on our convention. And it's time for us to kiss the rod. If we're going to say, your rod and your staff, they comfort me, that little phrase from Psalm 23, we're in the valley of the shadow of death, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Well, if the rod is a comfort, then kiss it, because it's a good thing that He's done this. This is a good thing. It's a good thing that God has made this open so that it can be corrected and the ship can be righted. And that must be done. We can't cover it up, step away from it. We cannot let the same people continue to be in our bureaucracy, in our convention. They all must go. If you've read the Guidepost report, they give some recommendations, which I really feel like are great recommendations. I hope their recommendations come to the floor of the convention just as is, so that the members, the messengers, can vote on them. And we can actually put some teeth to this thing and make it right. Cut the cancer out. We have to cut the cancer out. So yeah, I think we should kiss the rod. We don't need to bawl and cry and whine and have some sort of, kumbaya session. Ladies and gentlemen, we just need to get to the work of cutting out the cancer, which means eliminating some people, and which means doing more investigation, especially into the dollars. Because if they're willing to protect the dollars for the lives of people, then we need to look at how they've been handling the dollars. So the cooperative program must be audited quickly, before anything can change. It must be audited. I think that, and of course this won't happen at the Southern Baptist Convention, but I think every state convention should be audited. And that this kind of search should be done in state convention houses and in every entity that the Southern Baptist Convention supports. Because all of these people that lead all of these entities have been buddies with all of these guys who have been covering stuff up. So we need to look into all of it. It's time. And you know, as I sit here thinking about all this, this has been coming. And I knew it, and a lot of other people knew it too, because you just can't have a good old boy system like we have in the Southern Baptist Convention, and you can't wink and nod at nepotism like we've done in the Southern Baptist Convention, and you can't let just the big churches run things like we've done in the Southern Baptist Convention and say it's going to be okay, which we've done for 30, 40, 50 years. We just can't let that happen anymore, because we see now what the result is of all of that. So even though I won't be able to go to Anaheim, I encourage all of the folks that are going to go to vote accordingly, to not withhold. You know, let's cut it out. Let's get rid of the guys and the gals who are responsible for this, and let's do something right about it, which means exposing it wherever it might be. It's time to dig a little deeper, because we have no witness left if we can't do that. As a matter of fact, there are going to be a lot of churches that leave the convention over this. And honestly, for some of the reasons that they'll give, I don't blame them. I don't. You know, because we've made a mess of things. We've made a mess of things. Well, I don't know. I guess I feel better now to get that off my heart. I hope that you guys are doing good. Pray for the Southern Baptist Convention. And pray for all the churches. There are a lot of churches that have never, ever had a say in our convention politics. Pray for them, because they're hurting and they don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. So I hope this finds you well, and I hope that you'll be encouraged, and pray for next week and all the men and women that go out there to make things right. It's time to make things right. Well, God bless you all. I'll see you soon. Bye.